Hi Wood Green Church family. Just wanted to update you about the measures we're taking as a church in light of the latest guidance from the government aimed at combating the spread of the coronavirus. Last night we met as church leaders to talk and pray together. As a result, we've agreed a number of changes to the way we will need to do church over the next few weeks. For the time being, we've decided to suspend all our regular church activities. This decision is in line with the recommendation of the governing authorities God has established over us, and who we are told in Romans 13 we are to submit to when their actions are for the public good. The government guidance has been very clear. Everyone is being told to avoid social gatherings and unnecessary social contact. In Parliament on Monday, Matt Hancock, the Health Secretary, confirmed that this guidance applies directly to churches. Yesterday, the network of churches we belong to, the Fellowship of Independent Evangelical Churches, also advised all its 600 churches to immediately cease all gatherings. The reason behind this is to protect those who are elderly or vulnerable, and also to mitigate the impact on the NHS. In John chapter 13 verse 34, Jesus told his disciples they were to love one another. He also said in Matthew 22 verse 39 that the second greatest commandment is that we love our neighbour as ourselves. In the current crisis, we believe the right way we can show love to one another and to our neighbour is by closing down all our church services, meetings, ministries and activities. This includes all our seniors ministries, our youth groups, our toddler groups and our growth groups. And yes, this also sadly includes our Sunday morning and evening services. However, this doesn't mean that our church is closing down. Far from it. It simply means that instead of face-to-face gatherings, we will need to use new and innovative ways to worship together, relate to each other, care for one another and share the gospel with others. This crisis is an opportunity for us to grow in our love for God and for one another and for those around us who don't yet know Jesus. Over the next few weeks, we will need to learn to use the telephone more to stay in touch with one another and pray together. We will also want to utilise online tools and apps and social media platforms to meet together and worship together. We'll also be putting in place systems of pastoral care so that we can look out for each other and support those who are needy and vulnerable. We will also want to build bridges with our neighbours and show our faith in Jesus through expressions of practical love. We've already started to put some plans in place to do all of these things, and we will communicate these with you in the coming days. We will be producing more videos like this to share news with you, to encourage you from God's Word, and point you to good resources so that we can all make the best use of this time. Please keep an eye on our Facebook page and Twitter and Instagram feeds for more details of these. For now, you should have received an email from Jess, our Pastoral Care worker, about a care team we're putting in place to help those who are self-isolating and who do not have family support to help with their practical needs. Please contact her if you can help with this. Her email address is in the notes below this video. We'll also be sending out details of a wood green labelled help card in Church Matters this week that you can post through your neighbours' doors to build bridges and to show practical love. If you're a regular with us at Wood Green, a church leader will also be in regular telephone contact with you to pray with you and encourage you from God's Word. We love you and we want to do all we can to support you, pray for you and pastor you through this uncertain time. We'll also be encouraging growth group leaders to consider ways of helping those in their groups stay in touch with one another and even meet together using telephone conferencing or video conferencing apps like Skype or Zoom. If you're currently not part of a growth group but would like to be linked to one, please contact Duncan. Again, his email address is in the notes below this video. And finally, for now, we are also putting in place plans to broadcast a morning service at 10:30 a.m. every Sunday while we are unable to physically meet together. We'll give you more details about this in the next few days. But please plan to join us at 10:30 a.m. online for a 45-minute service, which will include all the normal things we do on Sundays, including something specifically for children. For the next 3 Sundays, we'll be looking at 3 Psalms for troubled times. In Hebrews chapter 10, verses 23 to 25, the writer of Hebrews says this: "Let us hold unswervingly to the hope we profess, for he who promised is faithful. And let us consider how we may spur one another on towards love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching." Look, these are uncertain times, and it's natural to be anxious or fearful. However, as believers, we can have an unswerving faith because we have an unfailing Father. Whatever the next few weeks hold, we can hold unswervingly to the hope we profess. Why? Because he who promised is faithful. We don't know when we'll next be able to meet together physically, but let's do all we can to keep in touch with one another so that we can encourage each other and spur one another on. Let's seek to use this season of distance from each other to draw closer to our Father. And let's also pray that God would use us to point others to Jesus so that they can find the hope and comfort he gives, and that makes all the difference at a time like this. See you online on Sunday.